All right, guys, we have Daniel here, Daniel Dalbey. What'd you do today?
I won the Vegas event, the regional, right?
Yes. With what?
Oh, with the Super Saiyan 3 Reboot.
Perfect. Can you just go over your rounds real quick?
Yeah. My first 2 rounds were against Baby. Baby was, not super easy, but I feel like I have the answers for that deck. So those went pretty well. Faced Sin Shenron 3rd round. That deck is actually really, really tough, but I was able to get it. 4th round was against King Vegeta, super aggro, tough to deal with, but I planned as much as I could for aggro, so was able to get it. And then in the finals, I played User at Vejex, and that is extremely difficult, but luckily you've given me plenty of practice against it, so I was somewhat ready for it.
Perfect. So, how many games? Do you think it was an easy day? What was your record?
I didn't drop any games, so
Nice.
there was definitely some really close games, but I've been building this for a while, been tweaking it and trying to get it to its best build, and I think this is the best that it could possibly be.
Perfect. Sounds good. Let's get into it.
All right, secret rare is Hatch. Obviously, Hatch is just way too good not to use.
Yeah,
Blue
yeah.
deck shuts down whole turns, and with this leader, you bottom deck a card from your hand and then take a card from your life and put it in your energy. It allows you. It makes this guy open on turn 2 most of the time, which is
Broken.
yeah.
All right.
And I ran a lot of 2-ofs in this deck, so we'll get into the 2-ofs here. We got 2 Roshis. In any game that goes like decently long, this card just puts in so much work. Hard cast it for 6. That's the only way to play it, but it's not a problem when you ramp. It's critical, dual attack barrier, bottom decks 2 battle cards. At the end of the turn, draw 1 card. Really self-explanatory. I didn't use it a lot. I definitely used it against Baby because I was able to go long, but it was great.
Perfect.
We ran 2 8-drop Bojacks. Never played the card once today. I would keep it in there though because it does synergize off the rest of my deck.
Nice.
2 Barrier of Hope. I don't think I used this today either, but in locals a lot. I've been using this card a lot. It's great. At worst, it's a draw 2. I untap 3, usually 4 anyways. So, and it's removal. If there's something pesky I need to get rid of, it does the job.
Gotcha.
2 Abuni. Abuni just feels like a card that it's too good not to run. I don't use it a ton, but in certain matchups it comes in great. 2 Raditz, Giant Force. Raditz, this card helps me so much against aggro, as you know. Just
So good.
dual blocker. It's sometimes open turn 2 for me to play when I need to. It's a cheaper unison that I can play when I'm at 3 energy instead of the Majin Buu, which we'll get to later. 2 Goku. This just helps consistency, helps me search out my unison and also other Bojack pieces that I play in there. It can gain crit too, sometimes it's useful, usually not. 2 Sun Gohan and Piccolo, just extremely good removal. I didn't play it today, but I have played this thing for 6 in the past. Sometimes I'll just charge 1 and then play it for 6, and it puts in work. I run 2 God Sealing. God Sealing is obviously an amazing card. I used to have it at 3, but I was finding myself just seeing it too much, and it's not always a great card. So 2 felt great. That felt like the right number. I think I would keep it there.
Gotcha.
2 Vegeta Super Combos, and then 2 Zenos. Zeno just helps me fix my energy. It can be a draw 1. I rarely ever play it, but sometimes I do. But also just restanding energy, great against aggro. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. 3D Magics. I've kind of toyed, like this leader untaps so much that I actually didn't have this in there at first, but I was finding myself just really needing a cheap negate that, and it just 100% have to run it. 3 heroic prospects. I used to run this at 4, but cut it to 3. It's always pretty much always good, but I needed to cut. I had to cut one of these for D-Magics and other things, so.
Gotcha, just for space.
Yeah. I ran 3 baby Golden Avengers. This card won me so many games. I play it almost every single game, except against like super aggro, like Vajeks. Sitting on there, just waiting for their big counter. Like against baby, I would just wait until they played one of their big counters for the turn and just countered it almost every time.
Is this like one of your pseudo, basically boss monsters?
Yeah, for sure. This card just wins games.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is your best like boss monster? Is it a baby or like another card?
For sure, this.
Gotcha.
This card just counters. First of all, are just extremely good. People just, especially when you're ramping with SS3, you can play this thing really early, and when people are counting on that 1 energy negate to stop me from going in on a turn, it just counter. It makes it just so much worse, and pretty much, I feel like insurmountable for the opponent. And we got 4. We're getting to the 4 ofs here. 4 Galactic Busters. This card is just excellent. Gives value to all my blue cards that cost 1 to combo, which is like the Roshi, the Bojack, the babies. I can charge them early if I need to, and just have this thing for protection, which leads me to also, obviously this is like the most obvious charge target for it, which is Bojack, which I run at 4. I used to actually not even run this card, but I was finding myself needing the removal, and I quickly learned that this card is like really amazing, especially in this deck. Dual attack 20k helps put on a lot more pressure. Removal on their turn too. You have all this energy up. Really easy to play with this leader. It honestly runs people's days. And we got 4 Boo Unisons. This card honestly makes the whole entire deck. Draw 1, untap an additional 1. It's a double strike blocker, removes any battle card that they want to swing with. Not ignoring barrier, but it's still basically the whole point of this deck was just to ramp, get this guy out as fast as possible, and then makes it really hard for anyone to beat me at that point.
Untap 4, super value.
Yeah. We got 4 baby, Sun Gohan baby's minion. This card's self-explanatory. It mini topo almost in a way. And when I'm untapping 4 every turn, it's almost always playable. This card, these 2 together basically just win me most games.
Gotcha.
By themselves. And then we got 4 Sensu. I toyed with running Sensu at 3 at first, but I just found it was way too important in the aggro matchup. It saves me. I'm not worried about any long game. I pretty much win those handedly. It's decks that are super aggro that can sometimes catch me before I can get into everything. But Sensu just saves me.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to go over the side deck.
Perfect.
I sided a lot for Hand Destruction because I thought that would be my worst matchup, and I never played against it. So we have a lot of side cards that I did not end up using. But we got 4 Pans. Help me awaken. When people don't attack my leader, it's really rough. Luckily, I didn't really have that issue all day, but did plan on siding this when I needed to. For Deborah's, I feel like 4 there's no point not to. I have the energy almost always to play it. If I played against Hand Destruction, it obviously would have come in really handy. We had 2 protectors, never sided this in all day, but I did want to have the option just in case someone had answers to Sun Gohan baby's minion. If they weren't going to let me play battle cards on their turn, I wanted to be able to side into this just in case. Never used it. We had 1 max power. This actually was super clutch against you, against Vajex. I was able to just I negated like twice in a row and just added it back to my hand. It was just helped me with my hand a lot. Free removal, pretty self-explanatory on why you run this.
Great card.
Dirty Burst, this is for Celzino. Played against Sin, it didn't come up, but
Good option to have.
yeah, no point not to run it. I only sided 1 over which was Fu. If it felt like I had a super grindy game, I would have sided it in. I think I sided it in once, never used it. Sided 1 Jiren for Baby, or any blue deck that's using Android 17. That's one unfortunate thing about this deck, you can't use Android 17, but still great. This was a Spice card that my buddy Landon told me to put in here, which I'm glad I did, but I never used it. You can pay 2, activate main. Obviously, activate battle is way better, but you can bounce a card to their hand, 3 or less. So if they try to go in on a 3 or less for a game, I could have bounced it to hand. It also draws, or remove a marker from a unison. All in all, it was a super fun day. I'm glad that I came out. Shout out to all my AZ people.
Hey.
Shout out to the snakes.
Hey.
Helping me test. And also, showing up at locals, helping me perfect this deck. Super fun. I recommend playing it. And shouts out to all y'all out there. Thank you.
All right, perfect.
Daniel.